Hi.
Hello and welcome to Knock Knock Hi with the Glaucomfleckens. I am Dr. Glaucomflecken, also known as Will Flannery.
I am Lady Glaucomflecken, also known as Kristen Flannery.
And we are talking to another couple.
Yes.
Is
this our first couple?
It's our first 4-person podcast episode.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's exciting. It's also our first return guest.
Yeah. Dr. Lindsey Fitzharris and her husband, Adrian Teal.
That's
who's
right.
A caricaturist, cartoonist, illustrator, and it's fantastic. As you'll see in this episode, we see some examples of caricatures.
Yes.
And one of the two of us, which we will put up on our social media and everything for the listeners to see. And it made me think a lot, that conversation that we had with them, just about like working with your spouse.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, how do you think it's going?
I think it's going just fine.
I think it is too.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think there's 2 things about us that make it work well. And I can't speak for all, partners, all spouses, whatever, working together. But we have always worked next to each other.
Like studying.
Yeah,
and
we met in
writing,
college and we were, good students and whatever. We've always, in grad school and med school, I mean, there's always been like work. That's just been a fundamental part of our relationship from the jump. So it's not something we had to like transition to. We just started there. So the only difference is now we're working on the same projects instead of different projects, but we've always sort of worked together. And then the other thing is we have separate parts of the business, really, right? Like your skits, you write and you come up here and you film them and you edit them and you post them and, all of that stuff. And I don't need to get in there. And then, the stuff I'm doing, you don't need to get in there. So I think it makes it work.
Works.
Just fine. Plus the thing that really makes it work the most, you know what it is?
What is it?
Is you're out of the house 4 days a week at your real job.
Helps, right?
Yeah.
Just get me out of here. Leave.
No, but it is good to have your individual projects and spaces and your joint projects and spaces.
Absolutely. And we at times like to talk with each other.
Yeah, sometimes.
That's also a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Considering it's a podcast.
Right. A little audio heavy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's good, right?
Yeah. I think that's, I don't know. Do people like to hear us talk to each other? I guess that's the question.
Let us know. Do you like, we are now, 7 months into this thing. Do you like it? Do you like hearing us talk to each other? Probably a question we should have asked you all months ago.
Well, live and learn.
Yes.
I don't know.
All right.
We're not that interesting, but it did seem like Lindsey and Adrian's lives
seem much more
really interesting.
Absolutely.
Yes, they seem fascinating every time we talk to them. Them. It's just all sorts of things come up that you never could have predicted, and you just, they always leave people wanting more.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We heard a lot of comments after she was on the first time that she was a really fascinating guest. So hopefully people will like this episode just as much.
Maybe you should go and do like a PhD in like history or something.
No, thanks. I'm good. Yeah.
No.
Okay. I'm all right.
All right. Well, we have enough to talk about, but it's not like a Houdini box and
we don't
plagues
have the same kind of decor. We need to step up our decor game.
We
I feel like
we do. More portraits of my characters. How about that? No.
I mean, I already see your face all the time.
All right. Well, let's get to our guest. So, Dr. Lindsey Fitzharris, best-selling author of The Butchering Art and the Face Maker, PhD in the history of science and medicine from Oxford University, prolific writer, fascinating storyteller all the way around. And then Adrian Teal, as I mentioned, caricaturist, cartoonist, He has appeared in numerous TV shows as well, including Spitting Image and Big Heads, which I think are like UK-based things, which is where...
Yes, we talk a bit about
Yes.
Spitting Image in particular.
Absolutely. And so, together, the two of them form quite a duo. So
They do.
let's get to it. Here is Dr. Lindsey Fitzharris and Adrian Teal. Do you want to tell them or should I?
You can.
All right. We're telling our amazing story live in person.
Oh, you mean the story where you died?
No, the one where you survived me dying.
Oh, yeah, right.
We can't wait. There's going to be a meet and greet before each show. You can get a photo with us. You can meet us. We want to meet you. December 9th, 10th, and 11th in Southern California.
We'll be at the Improv in Irvine, Ontario, and Oxnard.
To buy tickets and check out the dates, go to glaucomflecken.com/live. And we have a special offer for our Patreon members, the Glaucflock, free meet and greet with a normal ticket. Just tell us your username and you're in.
See you in Southern California.
All right, we are here with the one, the only Dr. Lindsey Fitzharris and Adrian Teal, who are both wearing lovely masks here. So Lindsay's here in a plague doctor mask, and Adrian, just your classic,
classic
skeleton.
death. Yeah, classic death.
Classic death.
Nancy Reagan.
And in fact, I dragged him all around Venice buying different masks. And you said, what are we going to do with all these masks? Well, here it is.
Now we know. Yeah,
now we know.
Well,
it's like already
I
you're getting
do
your marital points in, aren't you? Really?
Yeah.
So,
I do see already a couple of masks in the background. Now, this is a different background than you were on with us a few months ago. And you have some really cool toys, things. I don't know what you call the
yeah, that's true. I did just call it the playground before we came on. So we moved a couple months ago. We bought our first house, and the nightmare scenario was getting all of this into this house. And if you see, there's the Houdini box behind me. And I told you guys about this in the last episode. I had it in my garage. It was a prop from a TV show that I had hosted. And when the show was done, I said, what's going to happen to this Houdini box? And they said, who cares? We're going to get rid of it. And I said, no, send it to my house. So it was sitting in my old house in a garage for a very long time. I had this idea I was going to turn it into a bookshelf, didn't I, Aid? And we moved, and then the movers couldn't get it into the room. I mean, it was a real, and I'm sure the neighbors were like, what are they trying to move into this house? They said, oh, we could bring it through the window. It took ages. So we finally had to saw it in half, which seemed really fitting for the Houdini box.
It does.
Yeah. And put it back together.
But it had to sit out in the garden, didn't it, for a couple of days?
Yeah.
With shrink wrap around it in case there was any rain. Because although it's the Houdini tank that was used for the water torture trick, it's still only made of wood. So, we couldn't get it wet. So,
and the other part of it is the top comes off, and the top has like shackles.
Yeah, it's really kinky.
Because he would have hung upside down, and he would have been, So I'm sure that the neighbors were like,
it was
who are these people moving in? But I persisted, and I think the payoff was worth it in the end.
Well, I don't know if your neighborhood has a Facebook group associated with it, but if so, I bet you two were the talk of the group for several days.
Nobody's knocked on our door.
No, we haven't had a single visitor.
That's right. Now, Adrian, do you have any say in the decor at all in your house there?
Wait a second.
Only the stuff that I've done for Lindsay. So there's the Edgar Allan Poe caricature there, and I have to say, in Lindsay's defense, she said to me once when we I think we haven't been married that long. She said, I want to fill the house with your artwork. And I said, really? You want to fill this house with my stuff? And she said, yeah. And so one day when we buy somewhere, I want to completely fill the house. So,
weird caricatures.
And the last few years, I've been doing a lot of kind of really like the old style Hollywood vintage actors as caricatures in black and white. And she said, oh, that'd be great in the new place all up the stairs. So she's absolutely plastered the walls.
There's so many
all the way up the staircase with all these vintage caricatures. So that was very nice of her to do that.
Yeah, and tell them how you did a caricature of me.
Well, I actually drew Lindsay as a caricature before I ever met her.
Yeah, Kristen's very much like, that's risky.
Well, ballsy, I think, is the word.
Poorly.
But, yeah. But no, fortunately, she loved it. And Yeah, I don't know if I should tell this next bit.
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah.
Well, she said, I've
Definitely.
only ever had it done. No, I've had it done a couple of times before, but whenever I have it done, the caricaturists always draw me with really big boobs. So I just went for it, you know? I just went completely over the top.
It's just all boob,
so
that caricature.
It's just all boob.
Yeah.
I did. You guys sent me that. It was a caricature of you. I don't know if it's the first one that
I think it is.
Adrian, you did. Yeah, it's great. It's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm hoping your tech guy's listening in here. Rob, do you have that little item on standby there?
We do, and we're looking at it right now on our screen. But we're going to whenever we. There it is. We're
oh
pulling
my
up.
goodness, that's not the one we thought he
no.
was talking about.
I was not expecting that one.
No.
Wow. Look at that.
Should we go now?
Gosh.
Should we
Yeah.
just call it a day
I
now?
look like Gollum.
So we're looking. So we're looking at a caricature that Adrian, well done by the way, of the neurologist and Gollum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gollum with mascara. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which somehow is more terrifying.
It's not Gollum.
That's
I think
awesome.
you look cute.
Yeah.
No.
That's my view.
There are
I'm weird.
two kinds of people who love caricature and people who are terrified of caricature. Kristen
I
might
love
be the
it.
one who's terrified of it.
I feel like I've kind of ruined the atmosphere.
No.
No.
What I think is so cool about your caricatures are usually it's like, oh, okay, I can kind of see that it's that person, but yours look like the person,
Well,
even though they are so exaggerated.
If I've done my job properly, they should kind of look more like the person than the person does themselves, really. It's kind of, there's a weird thing that goes on in the human brain where you actually, sometimes you can recognize people better from their caricature than you can necessarily recognize them themselves.
And also tell them about how politicians start to look like their caricatures.
It's weird because when you get a new politician on the scene, it takes the cartoonist, the political cartoonist, a few weeks to kind of figure out what these guys look like. And then somebody nails it, and then everybody starts to copy them. Yeah. And then a weird thing happens, which is that the politician starts to look like their cartoon rather than the other way around.
Like George W. Bush started to look like a chimp, right?
Yeah, because there's a newspaper over here, The Guardian, Steve Bell, who's the political cartoonist, he started drawing him as a chimp. Yeah. And then everybody started drawing him as a chimp. And then everybody started saying, actually, George Bush looks like a chimp.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize you had so much power as a caricaturist.
Yeah,
it is a powerful thing, and in
That's
fact,
awesome.
he ruins faces all the time for me. Yeah. I'll say, for instance, I'll use Will Smith as an example. I'll say, well, Will Smith, he's very handsome, and instantly you said his eyes are too far apart, and then you drew a caricature of Will Smith, and I was like, oh my gosh, his eyes are a bit too far apart. So it's
See, so if I were you, Lindsay, I'd be like, what are you saying about my face inside your head?
Oh, I ask him all the time because I have a very round face, and I'll say to him, if I lost a dramatic amount of weight, would my face? And he goes, nope, it would just be round.
Yeah.
So
it's just the structure.
It's your anatomy.
It's just the face.
Yeah, I have a giant square on my neck, so I understand.
How did you? But I want to know how you got into doing caricatures.
Yeah,
I've always done it. I can't remember a time when I didn't do it.
When you were a kid.
My father remembers vividly giving me a pencil when I was about 18 months old. And he said it was like watching a light bulb go off. It was just suddenly you realize you could make marks on a piece of paper. And
you insulted your dad with a caricature.
Yeah, obviously.
But your dad was a pharmacist and he didn't know what to do with Adrian. And so he called, there was a really popular show in Britain called Spitting Image at the time. And they make these caricature puppets.
It's kind of like, it's like SNL.
Yeah.
But it's SNL with satirical puppets. So it's caricature puppets of, celebrities, politicians, and they make fun in a topical way of what's going on in the world.
And so your dad called the creators.
Yeah, it was a hugely popular show, and my father phoned the guys who made the puppets and said, "Look, I've got a son. I just his art teachers don't know what to do with him. He's fascinated by caricature and faces. Could he come in and see you?" And they said, "Yeah, that's no problem." So I used to go down sort of maybe 2 or 3 times a year from between the age of 10 and 16. And they would set me little tasks, and I'd do, they'd say, well, let's do John Cleese or something, right? So I'd do a little drawing, and then they'd get me sculpting in clay and everything. And I learned more in an hour with them than I ever learned with any art teacher I ever had, I think.
Yeah, and so during the pandemic, they revived the show over here. So we were all in lockdown and you were doing ridiculous things. You were creating, helping to create all these weird puppets. There was Trump, and you had the coronavirus.
Yeah, we had the coronavirus puppet. Yeah,
tell them about the design for the coronavirus.
Well, the thing about the coronavirus was, at the time, everybody was terrified of shaking hands with other people because of passing on the virus.
Right.
So what I came up with in the design was to have. So his eyes are on two of the spikes, the protein spikes, but also the rest of the protein spikes are little hands. So he looks, and the reason they did that was because I did a little idea for a cartoon, which was, I remember who was Prince Charles, but is now King Charles. He caught COVID. And of course, as a member of the royal family, you're always going around shaking people's hands, aren't you? So I did a caricature of him shaking hands with the coronavirus and saying, "And what do you do?" So that was kind of the trigger for that puppet. So that
I'm really it's on the West End stage right now in London. I'm really hoping someday they give you the coronavirus so that we could have that.
You can hang it from the ceiling.
It'd be perfect decor in here. Have that hanging in the office.
I have got to commend you. I feel like I have this in common with Lindsey. It's just I am held in check more. I love a good theme.
Yes.
And I feel like you went all the way with your theme. And it's amazing. Like you're just casually sipping whatever you're drinking out of a Plague Doctor cup.
Yeah, she's got a Plague Doctor cup mug there.
Well, the children's book that we're going to talk about, Plague Busters, was the perfect time for me to bring out the inner child as well. Last time we spoke, it was about the facemaker. It was a serious topic. I had to have a serious mug. I couldn't have the Plague Doctor mug while talking about facial reconstruction during the First World War. So, and I actually just said to Abe, he's just got a glass, but we have another mug over there that he gave me that is Stephen King's It.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, you should have been drinking out of that for the interview.
Oh, that's good.
I think Halloween with you guys would be fun.
I know. I'm trying to convince them, but in Britain, Halloween isn't a big thing.
It's not as big a deal over here, no, to be honest. But
Well, why?
Yeah.
Come on.
I know.
That's because they haven't met you yet, Lindsey. Well, they haven't seen what it can be.
Do you guys know what Guy Fawkes Day is? Have you ever heard of Guy Fawkes?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's kind of creepier than Halloween because you actually reburn.
We burn Catholics, basically.
Yeah. Like you reburn Guy Fawkes every year.
Right, when you stop and think about it.
It's like an effigy of...
Yeah, because they have
we have a big bonfire. So what happens sort of from late summer till sort of middle of autumn, the local kids and everybody who's got like old chairs they don't want or old pallets or any bits of wood, basically you build on the nearest piece of green land, you build a huge bonfire. And then on November the 5th, you put an effigy of... God, this sounds terrible.
That's what I mean.
You put an effigy of Guy Fawkes on top of the thing and you set fire to it, basically.
That's way worse than Halloween. You think Halloween's such a strange holiday, but that is the strangest.
And the kids are like... The kids are like dancing around the bonfire.
Well, they have little sticks with Guy Fawkes hanging from it too. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
I've definitely seen the sticks with Guy
appropriate.
Fawkes hanging.
I think you made that.
So that's why we know that that kids are going to like Plague Busters. I think parents get a little bit scared, right, about scary books. And this is scary in the sense that we're talking about diseases that
I think it's gruesome.
We've largely been able to either eradicate or we can control now.
But it's gruesome more than scary in some ways, I think.
I think because we can control them now, I think it helps temper the fear.
Well, we can control most of them now. But,
right.
But
I mean,
now anyway.
I watched the intro to my interview with you guys because you do the interview, the intro later. And Kristen, you said that you don't like gruesome medical descriptions, which is hilarious that I've been on the show now twice. I am the queen of that.
I was gonna say though, this is a book I can read.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
she's been reading it, and it seems like you're enjoying it. Right?
I do. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's for middle grade readers, but I think it's one of those that you can like read together as a parent with your kid, and both of you, are enjoying it. It's kind of like a book version of a Disney movie, right? Where it has nothing
horrible things
in common with Disney movies, other than just it's kind of got things for everybody.
But I gotta say the illustrations are fantastic.
Yes, they're pretty hilarious.
And it makes it even better to know that the Plague Doctor on the cover is Lindsey, you were the
right.
model for
Yes.
that. Is that right?
That is right.
Yeah.
And actually, we'll hold up the book because we have to do this because we're freelancers.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if
There you go.
you can see the plague doctor, and he's surrounded by dancing plague rats. And what's funny about this cover was that we had a different idea originally, and the idea was that it would be the plague doctor looking into a crystal ball, and all of these viruses would be floating, which seemed really ominous to me coming out of a pandemic. Like, what's the next big thing going to be?
Yeah, really.
But our publisher said, well, crystal balls don't really exist.
Yeah, it's too fantastical, but dancing plague rats are fine, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of
Have you ever been in New York City?
Yeah.
Including giant
Yeah.
giant bacteria and viruses with faces on them too. So
Exactly.
Yeah, those are fine.
Yeah.
Totally
Yeah,
realistic.
that's
But yeah,
funny.
so it was a few days after, I think I said this on the last interview too. It was a few days after I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I've come through that all fine. I know that you guys are all in your PSAs about get your checks, so I'm the boob one. Get your boobs checked. But it was a couple days after that, and it was still kind of grim in the household. But you said, look, I ordered this monk's outfit off Amazon. I need you to put this on, and I need you to put the plague mask on, and you need to pose. So I have a reference here. So that really is the show must go on.
She went above and beyond Call of Duty there, I have to say. But
That's
it was
great.
it was a light moment at a dark hour, wasn't it? So,
It was.
Yeah. You need those. I
Well,
mean, we're
well, I
we're
look
familiar.
at the cover and I'm like, that's Lindsey right there.
Yeah.
Look at that. I mean, it's
This
just
is a spitting image.
Obviously.
Speaking of spitting image.
I know. I mean, imagine me taking the mask off and it's just this blonde, laughing woman underneath that. But for those listening, actually, I should say that if you aren't familiar with the plague doctor, which is hard to believe because, again, coming through the pandemic, this image was just being shared on social media everywhere.
Right.
But if you don't know what it looks like, basically the plague doctor in earlier centuries would wear this beaked mask. And the idea was that he thought that disease was caused by something called miasma, which is kind of like bad odors. So people in the past believed if something smelled bad, it probably was going to kill you, which kind of makes sense because the slums would have smelled bad and there would have been a lot of disease in the slums. So they would put this beaked mask on and they would stuff it full of sweet smelling or strong smelling herbs.
Herbs.
We always have a disagreement about pronunciation. And that would protect them. But, it's a weird thing because they also covered themselves from head to toe. I actually have another impractical thing I picked up in Venice
purchase.
A plague doctor puppet, marionette puppet.
Oh my.
But as you
my
see,
goodness.
he's wearing, this full jacket and he would have been wearing gloves. So in a weird way, we said in the book, it was kind of like an early hazmat.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it probably did
That's true,
offer
yeah.
some kind of protection.
Yeah, it did work. It just didn't know what.
Yeah.
I
And there
thought
were
it was for
weird
another
things that
reason.
we found out in Plague Busters that sounded completely outrageous, but then ended up actually having some kind of basis of work.
Yeah, this was the one that I find extraordinary is when we put in the smallpox chapter, and this was an idea that was kicking around from sort of the late Middle Ages, which is that if you've got smallpox, the best thing you can do is surround yourself with the colour red. Okay, so when Queen Elizabeth I of England had smallpox, her doctor said completely cover yourself head to foot in red cloth, and people were told to eat red food. Being red rooms, red light with red curtains. It was just red. Just surround yourself with red. And weirdly, it did have a beneficial effect. And it didn't actually cure smallpox. But there was a guy in the late 19th century, I think he was Swiss or Swedish, I can't remember, but he did some research into this and he found that red light, it doesn't cure smallpox, but what it does is it can tackle the inflammation and it can promote the production of collagen in the cells, which is the stuff that, knits you together.
So it's like an early LED face mask.
Yeah. So
Yes.
it's
They
basically
have those now. Same thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so it will stop the pustules from scarring because it will help them to sort themselves out. And I believe as well that red light
Interesting.
is good at fighting certain types of bacteria.
Yeah.
So sort of secondary infection, maybe, I don't know, maybe it was good with that. But
I do like how you said it doesn't cure smallpox. Like, spoiler alert.
well, yeah,
That's the
Right.
vaccine that helps
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that. So,
Yeah.
but
just extraordinary that somebody stumbled across something that actually did some good, without
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
about
So
why.
obviously, Adrian, it sounds like you have actually learned. You like have a little mini PhD in like
In medical
medical
history. Yeah.
here.
You're Dr. A now.
Yeah, PhD light. Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you've picked up a lot of stuff. But as you were going through illustrating this book, which of these plagues, I'm curious, did you enjoy kind of illustrating the most?
It's not Lindsey. It's not. Lindsey's
I know. I'm shaking my. I know. I can't even believe it's in the book because it's such a weird one. But
it's Scurvy. and I love Scurvy because.
But first of all, explain to listeners what Scurvy is, because it's not something we even think about today.
It's basically vitamin C deficiency. Human beings.
For the Americans there, that's vitamin C.
Vitamin.
Thank you.
Sound like Peter Griffin then, doesn't it? It's vitamin C, Lois.
Yeah.
It's vitamin C deficiency, and humans can't synthesize vitamins. One of the few animals that can't synthesize vitamin C. So again, it's back to collagen. If you can't get the vitamin C, you basically fall apart. But it happens over a long period of time. Unlike a lot of the plagues in this book that will kill you sometimes over a few days, scurvy would take weeks or sometimes months to kill you. And because I love maritime history, and because it was something that affected sailors a lot because they were away from fresh food, it's just fascinating. It's just a fascinating area of history, and it took a long time to sort out why this was happening.
We let it in the book, but I think it's I think there are scarier diseases than scurvy.
Yeah, I was going to ask. Well, first of all, I want to say I've seen a patient of all the plagues that you put in there. I think I only personally have seen one patient with one of those plagues, and it was scurvy. So,
wow.
Yeah, I think when you see it nowadays, it's usually obviously people are very malnourished. The patient I had was, and this was like 10 plus years ago, was alcoholic, so severe alcoholism, and just hadn't been eating, really anything of substance, and had bleeding gums and kind of bleeding, just the kind of very classic, strange, bleeding diathesis.
Did you know what it was right away?
I didn't. Well, I suspected it, and that's one of my, pat yourself on the back moments that you have in medical training at times. Whenever you somehow come up with the right answer,
because
no one's thinking about that.
Yeah.
But again, I was an intern, so I had just finished all of my med school, and so I had this huge wealth of knowledge.
The smartest you'll ever be.
The smartest I've ever been in my life. And so I was able to bleeding gums, like a very malnourished person, could this be a vitamin C deficiency? And we checked the levels, and it was dangerously low.
That's
and
extraordinary. Because it's one of those diseases. It's like rickets or leprosy or gout.
Or Hansen's disease now. They call it leprosy.
Hansen's disease. Yeah. It's one of those things that you think's been consigned to the the dumpster of history, but it's obviously making a comeback.
Every now and then it pops up.
Well, but just like syphilis is making a comeback, right?
Yeah.
I feel like syphilis is always making a comeback.
Take you long to get syphilis.
or super gonorrhea now? Isn't that like a thing where there's like a strain of gonorrhea
that sounds like the worst superhero ever.
It does.
Super gonorrhea, man.
It's resistant to certain kinds of antibiotics. So yeah, it's coming.
Well, I want to know what plagues were on the cutting floor here? Like, what did you have to leave out?
We left out leprosy mostly because you have to talk a lot about religion.
Yeah.
And we worried a little bit about that going into a U.S. audience, and
if stuff was left out, it was often as well purely for reasons of space, wasn't it? Because you can only you've only got, with a children's book like this, you've only got 25,000 words to work with. So you have to really cherry pick the ones that are going to give you the best stories. I mean, we could have talked
the best nightmares.
The best nightmares. We could have talked about, malaria or typhus or, there's a host of others, but we just picked the ones that we thought we could tell.
Yeah, and the other thing is that sometimes these diseases were more or less the same story over and over again, like a vaccine was developed. So we wanted there to be a variety in that sense. But going back to identifying scurvy, it's interesting because some of these diseases, for instance, if they did appear in a hospital, one has to wonder how quickly it would be identified, because that reminds me of a story of one of the last people to die of smallpox in Britain. She was a medical photographer, if I remember correctly. And there was a sample of smallpox being kept at the hospital, and she caught it. And she ended up in that same hospital, and they did actually identify it quite quickly. They put her in isolation, but she had given it to her mother at the same time. Her mother ended up in the hospital as well. They both developed hideous scarring from the smallpox. The father went to visit them, and he died of a heart attack from the stress of the situation. And then they died as well. And it was only after this incident that the WHO decided nobody gets to have this stuff locked away, except for the CDC and a lab in the Soviet Union, which was really badly.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And actually, we don't know where that sample went, if I remember correctly. So, I mean, we have DNA sequences, so I guess we could just replicate it anyway. I mean, there's all kinds of scary things about smallpox because it's the only human virus we've ever fully eradicated, which is incredible. But it also means that nobody has any kind of immunity. We're not vaccinating, of course, against it because it doesn't exist anymore. I believe that there probably are people listening who are in the military who have had to have the smallpox vaccine. Sometimes people will tell me this on Instagram that they've had it. But otherwise, we're not vaccinating against it. So it's one of those scary diseases that if it did come back, I wonder if doctors would even recognize it or recognize it quickly enough because it's so contagious.
Well, it's in the safe hands with the government and the Soviet Union. That's good.
It's gonna fall out of a window.
So those are the only two places that has a sample.
Well, I believe there was a news article recently, I think it was in the last 5 years, that somebody found a sample in a lab in the US in a freezer. It's like smallpox was just hanging out in this freezer.
See a little vial is listed smallpox.
And they were like, oh shit. And there's a whole protocol to destroying it. So there's people from the WHO have to witness it. So it's like a whole process that everybody has to come and witness the destruction of the sample. But I don't remember fully, but I do remember there being this kind of article about somebody found smallpox hanging out in a freezer. And everybody kind of freaked out, and but
I bet there's someone out looking for their smallpox sample they left in the freezer. Who left this here?
And I want also, for me, smallpox is the scariest disease that we cover because 1 teaspoon of smallpox is enough to kill every man, woman, and child on the face of the earth. It's an incredibly toxic, disease. And also the way it manifests itself, people kind of now, because we haven't seen it in modern times, think of it as chickenpox. It's really not like chickenpox. It's incredibly disfiguring, which is why it was feared so much in the past as well. Even though things like bubonic plague, for instance, sometimes had a higher mortality rate. But smallpox was very disfiguring, and that really kind of struck fear into people's hearts. But we open the Plague Buster chapter on smallpox with one of my favorite stories in the history of medicine, which takes place at Newgate Prison, which was the most disgusting prison on the face of the earth in the 18th century. And you have this surgeon named Charles Matlin, and he is walking through Newgate Prison, and he is carrying one of the deadliest viruses on earth. He's carrying a sample of the smallpox, and he is going to try to inoculate prisoners who have been condemned to die. And the gamble is if they agree to do it and the inoculation works, they get to walk free. So the stakes really couldn't be higher. And I just love this story.
It's like the worst game show ever.
It is the
worst.
Yeah.
Really?
Whew. You think that would pass the IRB?
No. I don't think that could happen these days.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Like so much of what we cover in Plague Busters, I mean, ethically, would never stand up.
No. Mostly to do with orphans, wasn't it?
Yeah, mostly to do with children and orphans.
It's not good.
But I mean, it has to be acknowledged that these experiments took place, and they were unethical to our standards today, but they did take place and they did advance medicine on some level. But there were, and in fact, Aid, we could probably announce. Do you want to say what the next book is going to be?
Yes, we do. We've got another one lined up for kids, and it's called Dead Ends, and we're writing it at the moment, and it's about medical history's failures, basically, and how some failures.
I love that.
Some failures were just failures, and were just terrible, and we should try to forget them, really. But we're digging them back up again. But some of them were also failures that were just problems on the way to success, basically.
Yeah.
So very often, good things come out of terrible things. And that's kind of
Right.
the theme. In a nutshell, that's the
Yeah.
theme of the book, isn't it?
And one thing that
Can
we
you
won't be
give us an
talking
example?
well, we
of
won't be talking
one of
about this
those?
in the children's book, but it is a
Yeah.
fun example for the adult listeners. And some of the adult listeners, you're going to know this story. But if you don't, Kellogg's cornflakes were invented to stop you from masturbating. So we have a little prop that Aid had made for me a while ago, Fitz's cornflakes, because on my YouTube channel we couldn't actually put a Kellogg's cornflakes box and we didn't want to get sued.
Gotcha.
Right.
But
Their lawyers are bigger than our lawyers, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
what
I would
happened
imagine.
was Dr. Kellogg in the 19th century, he was obsessed with masturbation. He thought it led to all kinds of problems and he wanted to stop people. So he thought creating a like a biscuit or essentially
Bland food.
yeah,
right?
bland food. You didn't want to heat up the passions in the body. So he created the cornflake. Now, what happened was his brother came along and was like, you know what would be great? Sugar in the cornflakes. And they had this massive falling out because, Dr. Kellogg was like, no, everybody will just masturbate all the time if there's sugar in the
At
cornflakes.
breakfast.
Of course.
That's terrible.
Who wants to see that?
Yeah.
So I believe there was a big falling out, and I believe the brother won, and that became the commercial cornflakes that we all love. But the original origins of cornflakes was because Dr. Kellogg was obsessed with this.
But that's not good.
That is not going in the book. Parents, do
Yeah.
not worry. But we
No.
thought we'd share that for you guys. It's
It's a good bit of trivia.
It's a good
Yeah.
bit of trivia.
Oh my goodness.
Do we have cornflakes in the house?
I don't think so.
Not anymore.
But I mean,
Not
we're
anymore.
starting, and actually, Will, I remember last time we spoke, you were upset that I didn't come up with more eyeball facts, right?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Right. So I got some eyeball facts for you.
I've been
Ooh, she's
seething
come
about
prepared.
it. I've been.
Yeah, he mentions
can't
it
stop
every night
thinking about
before
it.
bed. He's
It's
muttering
terrible.
about
And
it.
actually,
All right.
I wanted to show you. This is the most romantic thing Adrian has ever bought me. Is a ring. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Made out of a prosthetic
Oh.
eye.
It's actually the same
Oh.
color
It's a
as
little
your
bit too
eye,
big,
isn't
so
it?
that's why. Yeah, it's the same color
Your
as my eye.
eyes.
That's
Great.
I'm
really
saying you've only got one eye. Eyes, I should
Yes.
say. It's the same color as your eyes.
But here's
I love
the
it.
weird story I wanted to tell you. So, have you ever heard of this thing called optography in the 19th century? You may have.
Optography. I've never heard that term.
Okay, so
Describe what it is. I may have heard it though.
So in the 19th century, the late 19th century, after the advent of photography, there was this theory that the eyeball could record the last image a person saw, like a camera.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
in fact, when Jack the Ripper began killing in 1888, they even tried this out. They thought perhaps if someone was murdered, they would have seen their murderer and we could get this information from the eyeballs. And this became such a widespread belief that murderers would actually remove the eyeballs of their victims to prevent this information from being taken from the eyes. So that's my weird eye fact for you.
Wow.
Does that
Smart.
make up for it?
Yeah.
They made it. Yeah,
That's a good
That's
one.
really good. They made I think they made a Black Mirror episode
Oh, really?
based on that. Yeah, that Netflix show. It's like set in modern days where
Yeah.
that is actually a thing that they can do.
Well,
they can
you know-
tap into a dead person's
Whenever
vision
I post
right
about
before they
this
died.
on Instagram or on social media, inevitably there are people who say, so does it work? So
Yeah,
I've had to kind of I know, the internet.
like it's just potentially plausible. Like
Right,
if,
it sounds
you know, it
believable
sounds
enough.
kind of believable
Yeah.
if someone like you talks about it with enough authority and conviction.
Let's start
You
a
could
rumor.
convince it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on this
there we go.
podcast. You could start
Yeah.
a whole other podcast where it's just
That's right.
weird medical rumors and see how fast it comes back to you at the hospital.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Probably pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a quick break. Let's take a break and we'll be right back with Dr. Fitzharris and Adrian Teal. Hey, Kristen, what do you got there?
Oh, well, you may not know this as an ophthalmologist, but this is called a stethoscope.
Yeah, I know what a stethoscope is. I also know it's supposed to go in your ears and not sitting on top of your headphones.
No, I like it better this way. Besides, this is not just any stethoscope. This is the Echo Core 500 digital stethoscope with 3-lead ECG.
I've heard about these things.
Yeah.
40 times noise amplification,
That's right.
noise cancellation,
Mhm.
3 audio filter
You
modes,
know it.
and a full color display.
Yeah, buddy.
60 hours of battery life, too.
That's right.
Everybody loves a good battery life, and it's durable.
That's right.
Awesome. We have a special offer for our audience here in the US. Learn more at ecohealth.com/KKH. That's ekohealth.com/KKH and use code KNOCK50 for a 75-day risk-free trial and a free case and free shipping to the continental US to get your Core 500 stethoscope. Kristen, do you remember when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life after training?
I do.
Eventually, I decided on private practice, and it was the best decision I have ever made.
Hey.
Okay, Glaucomfleckens was probably the first.
Very funny.
But it's really hard to start your own private practice.
It is, especially in today's world.
And that's why Independent Practice Partners is there. They want to help you start your own practice, and they will ensure that your practice doesn't just survive, but thrives. To find out more, go to ipracticepartners.com. Again, that's the letter I, practicepartners.com. Well, what I thought we could do is it's a game that a lot of people will relate to. It's the Newlywed Game. We're gonna play since we got you guys, we got a couple here, and so what I've learned is that you learn a lot about your spouse, when you work together. And you guys you've been working together, right? And so let's see
I'll
just
show
how
you the
well.
bruises if you want.
Yeah.
So this will show just how well we know each other. You guys know each other. So I'm going to read.
Wait. Do we need to get like paper?
Well, I figured what we could do is we go question by question. So I'll ask the question, and then the person who's supposed to answer will answer, and then we just immediately decide, okay, what's the actual answer?
Okay.
Let's just do it.
Anyone else follow that?
Trust me on this, okay? Okay. Here's the first question.
Okay.
Here's
All right.
it'll make sense here. All right, first question. What are Adrian and Will's favorite diseases?
Oh, well, scurvy.
So Lindsay has to answer for Adrian, and you answer for me.
Pseudomonas.
I think you're right. Because I talk about it a lot, don't I?
Yeah.
You went into this without knowing the answer, Will. That's what's fascinating. You're like, that might be it.
She makes a good point.
She's convinced me.
This is how our lives go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's do the next one.
Okay.
All right. Who is more likely to get lost while driving?
Oh.
So you guys.
This is gonna be easy for you.
Well,
Adrian, what do you think?
I think it's me.
I don't even drive in this country. I don't even.
and that's why it's me.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah,
it's a good
point. Yeah, I've never gotten my UK driver's license, so.
I think I would choose me.
Yeah, I would choose you too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You. Here's the thing I do. I have a pretty good sense of direction, and so I usually know where to go. But on the off chance, occasionally it happens that I get turned around, and so I ask him what he thinks, and then I do the opposite, and that has never failed me.
That is good.
All right, next question. What creature do Lindsay and Kristen fear the most? This is maybe hard for Lindsay because I can't imagine anything scares you.
Fearing some creatures.
So, Adrian, what creature does Lindsay fear the most?
Well, you see, a few years ago...
Do ex-husbands count?
Oh, yeah.
A few years ago, I'd have said spiders. But I've kind of brought you round to spiders.
Yeah,
again,
you
haven't
have. We name them now.
I know what it is. I know, and I can't remember the name, but there's a species of bird that looks terrifyingly almost...
Oh, I know what he's talking about. It's horrible.
Is it called like an eagle, vulture, or something like that? I can't remember.
It
but
looks like a man in a bird suit.
It looks like a man in a bird
Yeah.
suit.
Have you seen this thing? Oh my god!
No,
I
I've
think
seen some vultures that fit that
I think
description,
I've
though,
seen-
so I kind
I think
of
I
know
know
what you're talking about.
Or
Yeah.
those giant bats too.
Yeah.
Really,
But
anything giant.
Anything giant with wings.
Yeah,
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
For us, it's easy. It's spiders.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
down.
Easy.
Yeah, well, he cured me of it by making me feel bad about killing them. So now we name them. Because if they have names, you can't kill them.
Yeah.
You still kill them.
Oh, I'll kill them. I'll kill them. I'll kill their children. I'll kill their whole family.
She does not.
We do.
I've got like a
She's ruthless.
full-blown
Ruthless.
phobia. I have nightmares about them where they're crawling all over me, and I'm like in that stage of sleep where you're like paralyzed. And so I'm in my dream, I'm screaming, right? But then in real life, I'm also trying to scream, but my mouth won't open. So I just end up going,
Wow,
and then
that's
it like
Stephen
wakes
King.
him
We've opened a
up.
whole can of spiders.
right.
there.
Yeah.
You
That's
sure
right.
have. You don't know what you're walking into.
I thought he was going to say basically anybody who's on Dateline who's a murderer.
Yeah.
Because I watch so much Dateline,
Yeah.
and I know that there's going to be a lot of women, because it seems to be like women especially. And I've watched so much of it that he did a caricature of Keith Morrison for me for my birthday. That was like a big
No, Christmas.
or Christmas, yeah. And I'll send it to you guys. But in the caricature, there's like a body in the background. And tell them initially.
Well, I painted it as a surprise. She was in America when I was painting. I had to do it quite quickly because she wasn't away that long. And I very quickly painted in this body in the background with the police tape around it and everything. And I came back to it the next morning. I looked at it. I thought, hang on a second, that body is too small. It looks like a dead child, which would be too far a step even for Lindsey.
I know. So you had to elongate the body and make sure it looked like an adult in the background. But we have Keith Morrison hanging up in the house as well.
Oh, that's funny.
Awesome. All right, I got a couple more questions. Who's a bigger baby when they're mildly sick with a cold?
Oh, me.
You, for sure.
Yeah. Man flu, yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
I think I disagree with her on that.
I live with a chronic pain illness, and and I've had 2 babies, and women live with a lot of pain. You just sort of push through.
That is true.
When I get a cold, I insist that Lindsey has monks outside singing masses in my name. It's got to that
and I
level.
have to say, with the breast cancer, one of my first consultations with my surgeon in London, he started drawing all over me. And at one point, Adrian was standing in the corner and he said, "Oh, it's kind of like what I do." And my surgeon was like, "Oh, are you a surgeon?" I was like, no, he's not a surgeon. He doesn't do anything important in life.
It was about aesthetics,
But
wasn't it?
he was like, "Oh, it's about exaggerating one thing." And I was like, my tits are out. Like, let's not have this conversation. But he and my surgeon have sort of bonded. And it's like every time, right before I went into surgery, and here's another weird thing. I don't think they do this in the US, but you could probably tell me, Will, they made me walk into the operating theater.
Sometimes they'll do that for like outpatient procedures.
But like an 8-hour breast surgery? Like
that seems a little unusual.
Yeah, they said we do it.
We do it for cataract surgery, but that's like a 6-minute surgery. And so I don't know. That's
So it felt like going.
Did they run out of?
It's
beds
something
or
they
wheelchair?
said. It's like
this is Britain, damn it! You suck it up
you're gonna
and get on with it.
suck it up and go up. But they said if you can, we prefer if you walk up this. So we had to kind of part ways as I was going into the operating theater, which was kind of grim. But our hospital was so posh. It was the King Edward VII Hospital where the royal family are treated. And they had like this like lockdown and they're like, you could only go in if you had an appointment. And they had like a porter who showed us to the room. And the guy was really he was very nervous and he was making me nervous. And then
he was kind of doing things like pointing out obvious stuff like, well, this is the window.
Yeah.
And thank you.
So when he left, Aid said, "Was I supposed to tip that guy?" And I was like, "No, I don't think so." It was a very weird.
It was an awkward interaction.
It was awkward. But as my surgeon was preparing me, he and Aid were bonding over their love of old films, and you were doing your Jimmy Stewart impression, which do.
Well, now wait a minute here. But we both love old films, and we both love Jaws, right? So we're talking about Jaws as you're having your boobs.
Yeah, and I was, and I'm going into this massive surgery, and they're just like, talking about this weird. Yeah. So it helped keep things light, which as you guys said is important when you're going through that.
Very important.
Yeah. Sorry about the Jimmy
Adrian. So, Adrian, when you're sick, does Lindsay put on the plague doctor mask?
Good
You
question.
should.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
should.
you should.
You're,
Yeah.
you're rarely
It's-
sick though. You're actually very
No,
robust.
on the nose.
I don't
So
get sick.
he
very
never got
often.
COVID. Like that's bizarre.
Oh
you
wow.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Superhuman.
Well, we never leave the
All right.
house either, so that's
Oh, that helps. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
helps.
Why would you? You got everything you need in that
Yeah,
house.
exactly.
A Houdini box.
Can you leave the house? Are you locked in? Blink twice if you need
Yeah.
help.
All right, last question. Last question here. What are Adrian or Will's guilty pleasure TV series or movie?
You're never going to get this.
I'm not.
No, because it's so obscure, and you're not even going to know what it is.
And also, you probably and you probably watch it when I'm like not here,
Oh,
like
yeah,
on book
yeah,
tours
yeah.
and.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not porn.
now
though,
that you've
don't worry.
yeah, I know, like where are we going with this? Like, I mean, now that you set me up that I'm not going to know, can you give me a hint? Is it British?
Ian McShane's in it.
Oh, it's going to be that weird show I hate about. He's the antique dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it called again?
Lovejoy.
Lovejoy. It is the stupidest show ever. Every
fantastic.
time it's
It's a
on, I'm like,
classic.
are you serious? This is horrible. Lovejoy.
Yeah, it's like Deadwood.
Okay.
Deadwood was like this really gritty
Uh-huh.
show. It's
Yeah.
the polar opposite. of
Yeah.
Deadwood.
Exactly. Yeah. This was at the beginning of his
Aw.
career. He
Yeah.
played
The
a
beginning.
British antique seller, and he got into like
Scrapes.
scrapes. Like, that was kind of like it was that time. Remember
Nice.
Murder She Wrote? Like all these kind of
Yeah.
weird shows
But-
where
This is from the
yeah,
woman who loves
yeah.
Golden Girls. So this
I
is
do
like,
love Golden Girls.
Lovejoy is
Yeah.
my Golden
Well, you
Girls.
just gave away my guilty pleasure.
Yeah. Cool.
Murder,
No,
She Wrote.
no.
Really?
No.
No, I'm just
No.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
Wow, that's
It's a little.
I don't know what your guilty pleasure show would be because you just watch basically if it makes you feel terrible about humanity, he loves it.
Oh,
That's his genre.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a big
So the
fan of like
news.
the post-apocalyptic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and just
I don't know.
people doing horrible things to each other, and I don't know. But I gotta go movies. So there's two that are coming to mind, and so I'm gonna say either Homeward Bound or Marley and Me.
oh my god, Homeward Bound is really sad. And so is
those
Marley
are
and
not
Me.
pleasurable experiences.
Oh man.
That was Marley and Me was one of the only movies that made me like legitimately
That's the
cry.
only time I've seen him cry at a movie was
That's
Marley
just
and Me.
a sad movie. I'll never watch it again.
Okay, so
I don't
Homeward
honestly
Bound
don't.
is what you're saying.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any like true like.
I know you.
Guilty pleasure.
You are very consistent in what you watch, and it's
I-
all that.
I mean,
Horrible stuff.
I've watched every episode of Seinfeld like thousands
Yeah,
of times, but that's not like
you don't
a
need to be
guilty
guilty
pleasure.
about that. Yeah, that's
don't
like a
know.
classic.
I love
one time I found myself watching Gilmore Girls.
Oh,
that is a guilty pleasure then.
It's
Yeah.
good. It's
Weird.
it wasn't bad.
it's good writing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I don't really see why any pleasure should be.
I mean,
guilty,
I
really,
love
within certain
right,
legal
yeah.
parameters.
he knows whenever there's a documentary that drops about Everest. I mean,
Oh,
the
yeah.
higher the body count,
Oh,
the
yeah.
better.
Yeah.
I am in.
Yeah.
I love like those kind of
I
disaster.
was watching it. I forget which one it
documentaries.
was, but I was watching a sitcom the other day, and somebody was reading a book about Everest, and they said, "Wow, rich people sure do love to find weird ways to die." Don't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just,
true.
it is. It's just fascinating to me. Why would you ever risk going up that mountain? But
Well, I wouldn't.
it doesn't even. It's
Yeah.
not even just documentaries. I read books about this stuff. It's fast, and the fact that the bodies are still up there. I mean, imagine. It's just insane to me. So that's definitely my guilty pleasure. What's yours, Kristen?
Doesn't surprise me about you, Lindsay.
No.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
I don't know what mine would be.
I don't know.
See, the thing with all these types of shows is that's just always what's playing in my head anyway. I have anxiety, so I'm always looking at like all the things that can go wrong and the ways all my loved
Chris-
ones can die.
Kristen,
and,
Kristen
yeah.
is the type of person like I kind of like kind of dark,
Yeah.
I like horror movies. I like thrillers. I like
Right.
that kind of. Kristen is the type of person who will read the end of a book to make sure she likes the ending
Oh my
before she actually
gosh.
Because
reads
I can't
the book.
take the suspense. It's too much.
But what's
it's too
fascinating?
much.
What's
It
so
hurts.
fascinating about you is you jumped into, rescue mode in one of the most
And I
anxiety
think
producing moments.
that is part of why I was so good at that. And I am good in an emergency. And it's probably because I've run through all of them in my head already.
You're a
I already know
disaster
where to go.
planner.
I know where the exits are. I know I've already prepared. I've got the stuff. I didn't have an AED at the time. That was a mistake, but I do have one now. Yeah.
She's like on her way to becoming a doomsday prepper.
I could comfortably slip into that, I think,
like,
if I needed to. Yeah.
If it was logistically possible to build like
You'd want me on your team.
a bomb
Yeah.
shelter in our backyard, like
Every
it would have been
scenario
done
you
already.
could think of. I have a friend.
Yes.
That's right.
I have a friend named Kate So, and she's a disaster planner. And honestly, she's the best person to know because any scenario I throw at her, she's going to have a solution almost instantly. Because,
Yeah.
like you, Kristen,
That's right.
she's already thought about the worst case. Whatever.
That's right. I've
terrible
got
thing's gonna
fire
happen.
blankets. I'm not kidding you. These are true facts. Fire blankets. I've got sandbags. I've got one of those choking devices where you can like suction.
Sandbags?
Yeah, we got sandbags.
Where the hell did you put the sandbags?
I've got entire bags full of like dehydrated food and like the water filter things so that you can just stick it in the ground and like filter any groundwater.
This
I've
is
got
the
it
most
all.
animated that she's been in quite a while, talking about all her preparatory
I
things.
like how you didn't know about any of this too.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
of them I don't. So she just does it. Gets
You have
like,
like
we're ready. We're ready.
You have a full atomic bomb shelter.
That's right, we're
Probably.
ready.
I would
Somewhere in
like
the
one.
house.
We're
Yeah.
For the
Can
zombie,
we have that?
For the zombie
That's right.
apocalypse. Yeah.
I mean, can you go
Yes.
see movies like Oppenheimer, or is that just like it's just too much?
She doesn't
No,
go to movies.
It's hard to
period.
go to movies for me. I don't like crowded spaces. I'm coming off really horribly in this episode.
I've spent
always-
best
Ever
part of
since so I blame him partially
Yeah.
because it was the shooting when The Dark Knight came out.
Oh, yes.
And that wasn't the first one, but that one for some reason really stuck with me. And then he wanted to go see The Dark Knight like a few days later. And I
that
was still
afternoon.
trying. Yeah, like it was still fresh. And so I was trying to like be a good wife and he needed somebody to go see it with. I got to the theater, we went in, we sat down, and I was like, I can't do it. And I left and I just went to like the nearest like Barnes and
So you
Noble or
haven't
something
gone
and
to
just
see a
waited.
movie since that shooting?
I have a few, but it's always very hard. I have
Right.
to like work.
But we saw the Barbie. We saw
Yes.
Barbie.
No, you
We
saw
went
the
to see the
Barbie
Barbie
I mean,
movie.
the thing is, like, being British doesn't understand that Americans think about guns a lot. Like, we
Yeah.
think about it.
Yes.
And this
Yeah.
became very clear because when we were in Washington, D.C., we were coming out of Maggiano's, and a guy in fatigues and a ski mask walks past us and into the restaurant. Now, I'm from Chicago. I'm halfway down the street. I'm like, it's go time. Let's
Yep.
get out of here, right?
Yup.
He's still standing there. Like, is this really happening?
Well, it was like an anthropological moment to me, really. I was like, this
Like,
is
what is this
interesting.
person
The
doing?
end of the story
Right.
is the guy came out
With
with
a
a
pizza.
pizza box. I guess he was going on to another mass shooting, or I don't know what the fatigues. But the other thing we learned was that Americans were wearing this COVID mask. Like, it looked like I hadn't seen him in Britain. It looked like a full
Right.
face. It looked like a ski mask to me.
But
But
he
I
was
guess
all
it
in
was
black, wasn't he? He looked like he was
yeah.
ready for combat.
American. My mind is like, I mean,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
the
That's what we always
caricaturist
think
getting
about.
Of
shot in the
course.
face is not a good end to the obituary. So I
It's
told
memorable.
them, when we go to America, just follow my lead. If I'm running
Yeah.
down the road like that,
Right.
you need to follow
yeah,
me.
you're not
So-
going to
Follow.
have those internal alarm bells.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, in the
So
same
I
way.
totally get the disaster planning, but having now lived in Britain for over 20 years, I have to admit I don't think about it as much. So when I go back to the US, I'm always
Yeah.
fascinated that, this is a real big part of everybody's life. And people they think about where are the exits when they go to a bar, or at least if you're a disaster planner
Yeah.
like Kristen. So
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So yeah.
Well, let's take one more break. Be right back.
All right.
All right, we are back with a medical story that was sent in by one of our listeners. And we have Lindsey Fitzharris and Adrian Teal are going to listen to this with us. So this comes from Todd. Todd says, I'm emailing because I have a little to add on the leeches topic. So just to put some background here, last time, Lindsey, you were on, we talked about bloodletting.
Yep.
And leeches came into that discussion. I love that our conversations always go into these strange areas. So Todd says, I'm a clinical pharmacist at a level 1 trauma center that has used leeches over the last 10 to 12 years or so. As people have stated, it's usually plastics or dermatology ordering them. We used to keep them in stock almost continuously, but we weren't using them as often. So we decided to stock them at one of our other hospitals so they could be available within 24 hours if needed. So now we only have them when a patient needs them. It's interesting to know that they are kind of tough to keep alive. You have to change their water every 3 days, and we use special buckets to make that change easier. There's a special salt solution to add every so often, too. If a leech dies, you have to change the water daily for a few days and then can go back to every 3 days if no more have died. We learned quickly that certain pharmacists and technicians were really grossed out by the leeches. And some others, often people that use them for fishing and stuff, had no issues at all. I often volunteered since people would trade other crummy jobs if I did that for them, which is very smart. I was told that the company we got them from actually is the only seller of medical leeches. They're called Leeches USA. That's where you can get your medical grade leeches. Leeches USA. The cost depends on volume, but they're around $18 each.
Wow.
If you order over 100. So there you go. You get a cost break if you order bulk leeches.
Do they only drink blood, or do they eat other, like, how do you feed them?
No, it must be blood, right?
Oh, that's a good question.
It must only be
But
blood.
also, wouldn't they have to be sterile?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Or at least as sterile as you can get them.
All right. Hey, this is the more information we need from our listeners, okay?
Yeah.
Are they sterile?
Yeah.
What do you feed the leeches?
Yeah.
That's what we want to know.
And I like that this episode was sponsored by Leeches USA today.
Yeah.
For all your leech needs.
For all your
Yeah.
leech needs. And also, that was kind of like a weird Dear Penthouse. You guys get people writing letters. Like, I feel like you need a whole like segment on the weird letters that you guys get.
Yeah, we should just start soliciting them.
Yeah.
We'll give you advice.
Yeah.
We got a note from our producer Shanti, who says leeches can feed from raw liver that you can buy at the grocery store.
Okay, that makes sense.
You can also feed leeches with blood, like rabbit, cow, sheep blood. I don't know how you're going
are
to
they
procure
particular
that.
about
but
their?
What's going to happen is the next time I come on, I'm going to have some pet leeches.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the one thing
they'll
missing
just be
now.
stuck all over
Yeah,
you.
they'll just
and
Leeches USA,
Leeches
everyone.
USA.
And you don't have to walk them either, do you?
No, I know the cat.
Oh,
the
yeah,
cats
that
might
is
be
a
upset
plus.
by them.
But buy them in bulk. Definitely buy them in bulk.
100 of them. Can you imagine? Wow, what a weird
I
segue.
know, and what a great ending to our conversation about bulk
That's
leeches.
right. We've come full circle.
So definitely, we've talked a lot about your book. So just to recap, Plague Busters, you can get it. It's fantastic for families. Middle school is the kind of target audience.
Or trivia
right,
people,
for this.
you know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm enjoying the book myself, so it's fascinating, and so definitely check it out. And great artwork by the one and only Adrian here. Anything else? Did we miss anything?
No, I think that's it.
I covered it.
It's just great to see you guys.
Absolutely, and then also you can check.
Before the shop closes. Yeah.
I'm a bit worried about.
And definitely look up Lindsey on social media, Dr. Lindsey Fitzharris on Twitter or X.
And Adrian, where can people find your work?
Well, I'm also on social media, all the usual ones, at Teal Cartoons, TEAL Cartoons.
Great.
And
Great.
we will
Definitely
be
check that out. There's some good
tweeting the digital caricature of you guys, and we'll be happy to send it to you. Although I don't know if Kristen wants that on her wall.
I've had weirder. Look who I'm married to. I mean, I feel like Adrian and I can relate on that.
It's
front.
absolutely. It's
like,
going right back there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll send you guys that. So
definitely. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Always a pleasure. Do you think we can close the book on our leech conversation?
Time will tell. I think people are really interested in that. It's kind of funny.
The weird stuff. The weird stuff about medicine, I think.
That we're still doing, I think, is why it's so interesting.
We need to explore some more of those things. What other medical practices out there Do you think, and you as in the people listening and watching us right now, do you think people would want to know about? What are the weird kind of off the wall stuff
It's a fine line between that and like TikTok trends, though. Like
real things that like you get in like an accredited hospital.
Right. What are the things that we think are gone but are still around?
But what a fun conversation with Dr. Fitzharris and Adrian.
She's always so fun.
And they do seem to work very well together.
Yeah, yes. I think, like you, it takes a special person.
Yeah.
To be able to live and work alongside.
But the illustrations and stuff, and you definitely check out Plague Busters. It's really a cool book.
I like it.
Absolutely. And let us know what your thoughts are of this episode. If you have any suggestions for us, guests that you want us to have on the show, we'd love to hear your thoughts. You can email us, knockknockhi@human-content.com. We're on all the social medias. Hangout social medias. Is that a thing?
Sure.
You can just say social medias.
On the socials.
On the socials.
Yeah.
On the social. There's only one media, but there are multiple socials.
Well, media is already a plural.
Okay, whatever.
Medium would be the singular.
You can also hang out with us and our Human Content Podcast family on Instagram and TikTok at Human Content Pods. Thank you to all the wonderful listeners leaving feedback and reviews. You guys are amazing. You're beautiful. You're wonderful people. And if you subscribe and comment on your favorite podcasting app or on YouTube, we can give you a shout out, like Kevin.S.21 on Apple said, discussion with Lieutenant Aaron. I was like, what is LT? Lieutenant. That's what that is. I should know that. Discussion with Lieutenant Aaron Gregg on Will and Kristen's cardiac arrest was awesome. So important, an essential topic, and so expertly handled to reveal what went well and also what can be improved in pre-hospital EMS handling of cardiac arrest for the patient and, as importantly, the family, and specifically those family who had to take part in a resuscitation. This benefits all of us humans on both sides at the most critical time, most important emergency where 10 minutes can make the difference between life and death. Bravo. Well said. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That is the big takeaway from that conversation with Lieutenant Gregg. And full episodes of this podcast are up on my YouTube channel every week at Glaucomfleckens. We also have a Patreon, lots of fun perks, bonus episodes where we react to medical shows and movies, hang out with other members of the Knock Knock High community. We have a potluck every so often. Really just, everybody brings a dish. It's fantastic. There's a couple kind of, oddballs in the group, but that's okay. We need that. We need a little variety in our potluck dinners. What am I talking about? We're also ad-free episode access, interactive Q&A live stream events, and much more. Patreon.com/Glaucomfleckens or go to Glaucomfleckens.com. It's getting late in the day.
You're getting a little loopy.
I'm just going to keep talking here. Speaking of Patreon community perks, new member shout out to Jan. Thanks, Jan.
Hello.
Good to see you. Also, shout out, as always, to the Jonathans. We have Patrick, Lucia C., Sharon S., Omar, Edward K., Stephen G., Ross Box, Jonathan F., Marion W., Mr. Granddaddy, Caitlin C., Brianna L., Dr. J., Chaver W., Jonathan A., Leah D., KL, Rachel L., and Ann P. A virtual head nod to you all. Patreon roulette. Random shout out to someone in the emergency medicine tier. We have Amy A. Thank you, Amy, for being a patron. And thank you all for listening. We're your hosts, Will and Kristen Flannery, also known as the Glaucomfleckens. Special thanks to our guests today, Dr. Lindsey Fitzharris and Adrian Teal. Our executive producers are Will Flannery, Kristen Flannery, Aaron Courtney, Rob Goldman, and Shanti Brook. Editor and engineers Jason Portizo. Our music is by Omar Bensby. Did I say something wrong?
You called him Grob. So now he is Grob Goblin.
Goldman. I didn't say Grob. Did I say Grob? All right, sorry. I'm sorry, Grob. To learn about our Knock Knock High's program disclaimer and ethics policies, mission verification, licensing terms, and HIPAA release terms, you can go to Glaucomfleckens.com or reach out to us at knockknockhigh@human-content.com with any questions, concerns, or fun medical puns. Knock Knock High is a human content production.
Knock knock. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching the episode. You can find more on that playlist over there. If you prefer to listen, or you just had your eyes dilated, you can binge full episodes wherever you get your podcasts. Or join the party over on Patreon, where you get early access episodes, hang out with us, get lots of exclusive bonus content. Hope you subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think.